Hello, and of course, just as I'm starting, my phone falls over. Hang on, I gotta get my prop back up. Figures, right? So it's 9 p.m. on a Thursday night. Do you know where your children are? I don't know. What is that from? I don't remember what that's from. Anyway, so glad I made it. Kids, there's the alarm reminding me to go live. So, kids and I went downtown La Crosse tonight for the Torchlight Parade, which is a lot of fun. They were a little disappointed because I was like, we gotta leave at 8 so I can get back in time. But it's just really cool. All the parade participants wear glow sticks and all that good stuff. It's a lot of fun. So, tonight is supposed to be question and answer tonight. I have to tell you about the most awesome thing that happened at the parade. I'm kind of fangirling out about it, okay? I was at the parade and somebody ran up to me with her pan of lemon blueberry bars that she had made after watching the video on Tuesday. So I was like, that's amazing. So, and she had brought them to the parade for, to share with her friends. So that was great. And of course, then I was like, why didn't I bring mine? Because mine are sitting in the fridge and we just can't eat all those. And then another lady turned to me and like with a different group of people, and she turned in, she did a double take looking at me. She's like, I love watching you bake. So I was like, oh my God. And my son Connor, he's like, Mom, you have fans. So anyway, that's kind of a high. It's fun. But anyway, so, let's see, where should we start? I just want to make sure you know, in case you missed the post, was it yesterday? Yes, I think yesterday. So for about the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be posting one question a day. And for every question that you answer, for every answer you give me, your name will go into a drawing for a $25 Visa gift card. Okay? I figure that way you can spend it where you want to, and it's easy for me to mail to you if you're not local, right? So, like I said, for about the next 2 weeks, the questions will be highlighted in like this color or the sky blue, and they will say #curious at the end. So for each answer you give me over this next 2 weeks, your name goes into a drawing for that $25 Visa gift card. Fun, right? Okay. I thought about movie gift cards or the grocery store or something like that, but like I said, if you're not local, that's going to be difficult. Hello, Sarah. I'm so happy you're on. That's awesome. I had the pleasure of having tea with Sarah today. And we just talked about our businesses and where we started and where we've come from. And I was actually thinking tonight that I'll share a little bit of my story with you about all of that. But so it was really nice to hang out with you today, Sarah. And I think we should do that on a much more regular basis. By the way, if you don't know who Sarah is the baker behind Baked by a Celiac. Okay, she's wonderful, and I so appreciate that she's in Holman as well, because I do not bake for allergies. You know what I mean? I don't want to mess with that. So it makes it a lot easier for me to say no to somebody when I can say, I don't do that, but you need to call Sarah. She can do that. So, and then, Sarah, I can't remember who you told me it was, but she knows somebody who bakes for those with the nut allergies. So we'll get you set up if you have any of those. Which brings me to one of the questions that I have for tonight. I was asked, I wanted to get there so I can tell you who asked me. Hold on just a second, I'm pulling it up on my laptop. Okay, so Kelly wanted to know if I have ever made anything that is sugar-free or low carb. I do for my dad, okay? I don't do it for orders for people, okay? Main reason behind that is because Dad is very forgiving if it doesn't look good, okay? I am not a recipe developer. Like, I don't fully understand the science that goes into food and what makes it do what. So I don't tend to develop my own recipes. But I do have, when I'm cooking for Dad, this book, Low Carb Recipes by Belinda Schweinhart, I think it is. I have no idea where I got this. Oh, but website on the back says lowcarbrecipes.com. So anyway, and they have a whole section on desserts. Like baked cheesecake, banana nut snack cake, basic cookie dough, blueberry desserts, bread pudding, brownies, chocolate bites, things like that. So if I go to my tabs here, so I have made the chocolate bites, the chocolate fudge, the Jello Delight, the chocolate peanut butter squares, frosting. There is a frosting one in here. It involves whipping cream. That is a smooth frosting too. Like, it is silky. And then the peanut butter cookies I have done out of this cookbook. The other thing that we do a lot when we're going to have cake and Dad wants to be able to eat it, we will take like just a box mix, like a chocolate cake box mix, and you dump that into the bowl, and then you add a can of diet soda. And that's all. You mix it up, you pour it in the pan, you bake it, and it tastes fantastic. This cake does not hold up though, so like it has to be served like in its pan. Do you know what I mean? It's a, I don't know, like if you try and take it out of the pan and like stack it or anything, it's just gonna crumble. It doesn't hold together very well, but it tastes wonderful. Okay, so, and that's fun, and that one can actually be altered to make fun kids cakes too. Like if you just take a white cake and then you add grape soda to it, or orange soda, or I don't know, root beer, stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. They're pretty cool. They work okay for cupcakes too. So that's my solution to low carb recipes. But like I said, I don't do those for orders for people. They're just for my dad. Okay. Next question I had was from Brenda. She wanted to know, do you make your own pie crusts? I have a hard time getting mine to turn out, so I just buy pre-made crusts. I make pie crusts as little as possible, okay? I have the same problem. I have a hard time with them turning out. And I should say, I rarely make pies in the first place. Sorry about that. Text coming through. Go away. Like I don't do pies. My husband makes the pumpkin pies around Thanksgiving, and he does prefer to use the store-bought frozen pie crust. And then a lot of the pies that I do make either have a graham cracker crust or some sort of crushed cookie crust to them, or a shortbread cookie crust, stuff like that. But I rarely make pies. When I do make a crust, my sister-in-law is really good at them, and so she recommended this. I have Martha Stewart's Pies and Tarts book, and the pie crust I use out of there, I don't even know how to pronounce this, you guys, but it's like pâté brisé, maybe? But this is the pie crust that I do make when I make one from scratch. Very important to follow the instructions exactly as they're written in this book. Okay, don't second guess Martha, just do what she says. All right. So that's what I use when I do want to make my own pie crust. But mostly I don't. I do a lot of crustless pies too. So, which is just basically making it the same way. There's just no crust in the bottom. Okay. I had to check off my check marks here that pie crust, the low carb, we did that. Okay, and then who asked me? Carolyn I don't know how to say her last name, Carolyn, but she asked, how do you stop cakes from sticking to the cooling racks? I don't. So, they do stick. One thing that I do though is that, all right, so your cake is in the pan and it's got that domed edge on top. So I will actually kind of put my hand over the top of the cake and flip it upside down like this and remove the pan from the cake, right? And then I flip this onto the cooling rack, all right, so that the top crust, or whatever you want to call it, is not touching the cooling rack. That's the part that usually is sticky, causes the stickiness, all right? But I do always seem to have some cake left on the cooling rack, but it's not enough to make any big difference. Another tip for you is to place your cooling rack over a large cookie tray or something like that. Just something to catch the crumbs so that they're not all over your counter. But you don't want a cookie tray with edges. See, I have to think about this now, because the whole point of the cooling rack is to let the air circulate around the cake while it's cooling. And if you have... Oh, that was really weird. Like, for some reason I can hear the train really well tonight. And it's like miles away, you guys. But it sounded like it was in my backyard. So what was I saying? Oh, about the cookie sheet. So actually, I think I want to change my recommendation. Put down a piece of parchment paper on your table or counter, put your cooling rack on top of that, then put your cake on top of there, and then it catches all the crumbs. So, of course, I suppose you could always just wipe up the crumbs with your with a cloth, right? So, all right. And then here's a question I had from a student earlier in the week. Just wanted to know how I come up with my ideas for my cake designs. When I'm taking orders, a lot of times my customers send me pictures. And they say, like, for example, I want a baby shark cake. And I'm like, okay, so what have you seen that you like? And so they usually send me 3 or 4 pictures of what they like. And then based on those, I will create a cake for them. I never do an exact copy of somebody else's cake because 1, I can't. 2, that would be rude, right? But I mean, as artists in the world, we're always taking ideas from somewhere, all right? And mixing them and mashing them and making them our own. So Sarah, I'm like you on this one also. So if they don't have an idea, they're like, I just need a birthday cake for my grandma or whatever. I like to go on to Pinterest or Google Images or on to, what's it called? Instagram, and look and see what other people are doing. I love to use those opportunities where they don't care what the cake is. I love to use those opportunities to try a new technique that I've wanted to do, like the fault line cake that's so popular right now. Things like that. So that's basically where I find my inspiration for things. So Instagram, I love Instagram for it. All right. So I also got the question of how did I start this? How did this all begin for me? If you've known me for a while, you've heard this story, so you can tune out if you want to. But basically, like I've always baked. You know, I baked with Mom and I baked with Grandma, and we always baked. We always did cookie decorating at the holidays and stuff like that. I did not get into cakes until I was an adult, though. 1, because Mom and Dad always made the cakes for our family. And I don't know, I guess once I had my own kids and I started making their birthday cakes and whatever. But what the real turning point is that my husband and I decided to do Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University to pay off all our debt. All right. And when you're in the beginning stages of that, you go lean. Okay. Like we're still like this. Every dollar is assigned to something, but I mean, like eating out got cut out and going to the movies got cut out, and, you know, just all that sort of stuff, which also meant that my hobby budget got cut out. Okay. So there were no more trips to Hobby Lobby, to the fabric store, to Michael's, stuff like that. No more ordering scrapbook supplies. And I thought I could survive that, but I'm a creator, you guys. All right. So I created as long as I could with what I had, and when it ran out, I had no idea what to do, and I was depressed. But I was at the grocery store, grocery shopping, and I decided to just get a box cake, you know, and make a cake. Right? Cake always makes you feel better, right? So I was doing that, and I don't know, then at some point it dawned on me that cake ingredients are bought at the grocery store. Therefore, they are in the grocery budget, right? Ha ha ha. So I started baking every week, all right? Just trying different things, doing what I wanted to. And I was working at JCPenney at the time. And I always worked the Wednesday evening shift, and I would always take in whatever I had baked at the beginning of the week, you know. Well, first of all, I should say my husband and I were eating a lot of it. And eventually he reached a point where he's like, no, you can't do this. We're gaining weight. This is not good. I can't keep taking them to work. We're supposed to be doing this healthy initiative thing. I'm like, fine, I'll take them to my work. We're not doing healthy initiative. So, but yeah, so it got to the point where if I showed up for my Wednesday evening shift and I did not have the cupcake box, people are like, did you leave it in the car? Where is Lane bringing them later? What's going on? So I don't know. So I was just baking for my coworkers and bringing it to them, and baking for my kids to take treats to school, because that was still okay then. And whatnot. And then I got the funniest phone call. I was out shopping, like with my sister or something, and I get this phone call, and I can't remember her name right now, so I'm just gonna go with like Jane. But I don't remember what her name was. I get this phone call from Jane, and she goes, Laura. I said, yeah? And she goes, this is Jane from JCPenney. I'm like, okay. And she goes, I didn't get any of your treats today. And I'm like, I'm standing in the middle of Walmart with my sister, and I'm like, I'm sorry? You know, what am I supposed to do? And she's like, well, I was just really bummed because I really like getting your treats. And I'm like, okay, well, thank you. I'm sorry you didn't get any, you know. And she's like, well, actually what I was wondering, the reason I'm calling is I was wondering if you could make a graduation cake for my kid. What? So anyway, so I did that, you know, and then, actually that was not my first paid order. I just found a picture of it recently. I can't remember if I posted it for you to see, but it's a monkey hut. It's a hut with monkeys all over it. And that was my first paid order. And then from that and the graduation cake, it just kind of spiraled from there. Like my coworkers were now asking me to make specific things for them, and they would pay me to do it. What? That was awesome. So, and then it turned into a friend of a coworker called and said, can you make my kid's birthday cake? And I was like, okay. So anyway, that's how it began. All right. And then in 2013, I got a call from the La Crosse County Health Department. And they said, so you bake? I said, yes, I do. And they said, do you know you're not supposed to do that at your house? I'm not? No, you can't bake out of your house and sew. I was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And so they said, you have to get a license, you have to have a professional kitchen, you have to do this, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I was like, okay. So I tried to stop baking. Didn't work out. So I was like, you know what? Nobody tells me no. Nobody says I can't do this. I have the worst case of can't have syndrome. So as soon as somebody tells me I can't do something, I'm like, no, you're wrong. I'm going to do it. So I got licensed. I got the kitchen. I did all of that stuff, and it was okay. So, but the good news is, and this is something that Sarah and I were jumping up and down for joy about when it happened. In Wisconsin, you can bake out of your house now. So I'm still licensed. I still have the kitchen. But you know, I don't have to anymore. So that's really cool. Like you do for weddings, when you do not Wedding World, the venues that most of the weddings are at, like the major hotels or whatnot, they still require that the baker be licensed and be making it in a licensed kitchen. So for that reason is the reason I maintained my license and whatnot. But I can now do the birthday cake orders and stuff like that out of my house. So that's pretty cool. All right, what time is it? 9:20. About 10 more minutes to go. Do you guys have any more questions that you want to ask? Because I can just keep rambling on about myself. I don't mind. So, alrighty. Well, then let's go into how I learned to do what I do. All right. Trial and error. A lot of trial and error. Okay. I've always been crafty. All right. I've either been sewing or painting or scrapbooking or stuff like that. My mom is a sculptor in clay, so I would watch her build things and stuff like that. But anyway, so I just experimented and tried. I checked out a lot of books from the library. I was not big on the internet yet. Like I wasn't big into that, but actually the funny thing about that is that the day that I discovered that YouTube had more than just cat videos on it, right? Best day ever. So I watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to do things. I got into cake groups on Facebook. I just asked questions of everybody, you know, everybody around me. And then I actually didn't take my first cake decorating class, like paid class, for quite a while. And then what I took was, it was at Michael's. I took the Wilton class at Michael's. And that was interesting. So, hi Brenda, I see your question. I'll get to it in a second. Yeah, so Michael's, and basically in that class I learned I was doing everything right. I had already been doing it. And then later I took a cake decorating class at Consumers Bakery in downtown La Crosse. They're not there anymore, but with Baker Bob. And that was good too, just kind of reinforced that I was doing things right. And he did teach me how to do the basket weave, which I had not been able to figure out. So that was totally worth it right there. So yeah, since then I have paid to take classes online. All right, I have found something specific I wanted to learn and I have found somebody to teach it to me. All right, the free YouTube stuff is great, but it only goes so far. And a lot of times they're just doing it and they don't show you every single step of it, or they don't tell you that they have mixed this fondant with gum paste so that it'll dry hard, right? Stuff like that. So used to be called Craftsy. It's now called Blueprint. Those were my first paid classes that I took. And then when I got into more getting serious about running it as a business, then I signed up for Michelle Green's Build Your Profitable Cake Business. And that was a life changer too. So anyway, Brenda, to your question, have you ever done a mirror effect on cakes? I have not. Haven't tried it yet. Aiden and I keep meaning to. We want to. And we just haven't gotten around to it yet. So hopefully soon I will. How about you, Brenda? Have you done it? Have you tried it? I want to. I just haven't yet. So yeah. Let's see. What else can I answer for you? Oh, another question I get in classes a lot are, what tools do I need? You know, hi Mindy, good to see you. Yeah, Brenda, I haven't tried them either, so maybe we'll have to experiment together sometime, right? Yeah, me too. Okay. Maybe I'll do that as a live and we'll see how that goes. So Anyway, I think it's important to teach people that mistakes happen too, right? Anyway. Okay, so a lot of people ask what tools they need for cake decorating, and it kind of depends on what type of cake decorating you want to do. But what I have done is, because I'm asked so often, is on my website, laurasbakingdelights.com, you can go on there and go under shopping lists. And I have signed up to be an Amazon affiliate. So I have put on that page, on the shopping list page, different products that I like and that I use all the time. Mindy, I'll get to your question in just a second, okay? Not all of them are up there yet, okay? And then the other thing is, not everything I use can be bought on Amazon. So it's not all there, but I've got a good start for you. So that's a good place to look. I'll get things added as I can. So again, that's on laurasbakingdelights.com, and it's under shopping lists, okay? And if you buy, if you click on the link on my website, then I get a little bit of commission for that sale. So please, that'd be really nice. Just helps me keep up the website, right? I don't get a lot, but every bit helps. So, Mindy, do I ever make macarons? I try really hard. Again, I don't make them for order because I cannot get them to come out consistent yet. They are tricky little buggers. I am happy to share my recipe with you if you want to try it. But they are so sensitive, those little things. And I have to tell you something funny. Like my macaroons were coming out fine. They were just kind of hollow. Okay. And so I'm like, I got to figure out what's going on here. So I went on to a Facebook group that's all about making macaroons and was trying to look this up. And while I was looking that up, I discovered all these other things that could go wrong with your macaroons, like the feet don't develop, or they crack on the top, or, stuff like this. And I had never experienced any of those, so I thought I was kind of hot shit, right? Excuse my language. But then it's like, once I knew those things could happen, they started happening. And like, my macarons actually got worse. And so, I don't know, I'm giving them a rest for right now. Like, I'm taking a break from them, and maybe I'll get back to them. I'd like to get back to them like end of January, whatever, so I can maybe be offering them for Valentine's Day. But anyway, so I do try. I've also learned some really pretty ways to decorate cracked macaroons so they look like geodes. It's really cool. I mean, I think they're really pretty. But so I hope that answers your question. I do attempt them every once in a while, but I don't accept orders for them because I'm just not good enough at them yet. I don't know if I ever will be either, because I honestly don't know if I want to take the time to dedicate to learning to do them and having them come out exactly right every time. But I am happy to, I'm going to write that down. I will put on there my macaron recipe and tools. Okay? So that you can find those. Alrighty, any other questions? Anything else you're wondering about? Oh, everybody wants to know if this is my full-time gig. In the fact that I do not have another job, yes, it is my full-time gig. All right. Does it support my family? No, but it's not set up to support my family right now. My husband supports the family, and I make money to pay for camps and piano lessons and trips and stuff like that. The extras, you know how husbands are. They don't always seem to think you need clothes as often as you do. So my money a lot pays for my clothes, the kids' clothes, stuff like that. I'd love your recipe. Thank you. I'm going to give it a try. All right, let me see if I can find it quick, because I just found it on the internet. I mean, if I can tell you the name of it, maybe you can find it faster than I can get it emailed to you. Let's see. Okay, I have 3 in here now. One is the J.C. Gregg French macaron method. Okay. The other one is Mimi's French macarons. Please keep in mind, this is the proper spelling. At least as far as finding these recipes, is Macaron. Okay. I have another one that's just called macarons. So let me see if that's what I thought it was. Beth's Foolproof French macarons. Okay. So you can look those up. Maybe I'll get them put into a recipe bundle and get those to you. Alrighty, so it is 9:30 and I am going to say good night. And Tuesday, what are we doing Tuesday? Let me pull that up. Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. we are going to, hang on a sec. This is the other reason I love having a website, is because I can refer to it to see what I've promised people. Which, by the way, all of my hands-on classes are on there, parties and private classes, online classes, my menu, stuff like that. Okay. October 1st, we are going to make golden Oreo bars. Okay? And if you are not already on my email list, if you sign up, you will get this bundle of recipes for free. Okay? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 recipes in it. Okay? If you are on my email list, you will be getting the recipe of the week anyway in the weekly email. Okay? So anyway, I'll put a link to signing up for my email list when I'm done with this. So, alrighty, good night. Have a wonderful evening. I will see you Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. to make golden Oreo bars. And don't forget, answer the question of the day for the next 2 weeks, and your name will be entered into a drawing for a $25 Visa gift card. Okay? Bye-bye. Oh, Annalisa, hi. I'm just finishing, but I'm so glad you're watching. Oh, Annalisa and I went to high school together. I can't remember if we were in middle school together or not anyway, but it's nice to see you, Annalisa. Alrighty. Talk to you guys later. Bye.